One of the primary takeaways of this lecture is the difference between a role and a position. So a position is a description of a job title, basically, that somebody gets when they are part of an organization. So for example, chief accountant might, might have that position of chief accountant, but could have multiple roles. Maybe they've got a accounts payable clerk role, maybe also an accounts receivable clerk role. And these two roles are attached to a single position. It's important to understand that because as we discuss the IOC management roles, we understand that those roles are basically a set of duties and responsibilities that are attached to a position in the organization. So, for example, we could have an IOC leadership management role attached to the position of, for example, VP Finance. So, what we need to emphasize here really is that any position in an organization can be assigned these innovation and organizational change roles that you've read about in this previous lecture about IOC roles. So if we look at the first one, we're talking about IOC leadership management role. And what this essentially means is, as a person of leadership responsibilities, if we're assigned the task of innovation and organizational change leadership management, it means that we're going to be working with leaders within the organization and within external stakeholder groups. We're going to be working with those leaders to basically get them to buy into and support the purpose and the game plan of a specific innovation or a set of integrated innovations and the associated transformations. So the IOC leadership management role is all about managing leaders who will be impacted, or basically their buy-in is required to support an innovation and a transformation. And this role pertains to how we manage other leaders. The next role, which is IOC process, system, and data management, that role really is all about managing the complexity of the processes across an entire organization. So we understand that innovation and organizational change and the management thereof is all about implementing a set of processes. So this role is responsible for looking after those processes in a specific department or in a specific division or at the highest level across an entire organization. So of course where we have processes, we want a system to be able to enable those processes. So wherever we have a system or technology to automate or enable something, we've got to be conscious of the data that we're putting into that system. If the data is rubbish data, the system is going to have rubbish results. And the analytics that you're going to want to have in that system are not going to reveal what's really happening in those innovation and organizational change processes. So this role is really looking after the processes, the systems that enable those processes, and the quality of the data in the system. The next role talks about the financial business case of innovations and organizational change. Once again, it could be at a departmental level, it could be at a team level, it could be at the highest organizational level. Because in organizations, we talk about hierarchies and how things cascade. So you could have a hierarchy of business cases that roll up into a high-level business case, but that high-level business case rolls up financial details from the very lowest detail, from a forward planning perspective, as well as executing and controlling innovation, and organizational change. The next role is the innovation, organizational change, project action, and impact management role. So what that is all about is managing projects, again, either as a team or as a department, or again, as an entire organization, managing the project actions, but also managing the corresponding impacts of those actions. You see, one of the issues with project management is that it really just looks at driving project activities by a certain time within certain cost, quality, and scope. But in business, we have to look at business actions and the associated impacts together as one integrated change. And the final innovation and organizational change role really looks at the stakeholders. So this role will look at how to communicate, what to communicate to stakeholders about a particular innovation and change. And then, of course, maybe sometimes communications is not enough. Maybe there's got to be education about something. And then perhaps there's got to be training about something. So if we look at, for example, implementing huge transformational technology projects, we have to communicate, we have to educate certain policies or process changes, etc., and we have to do system training. And that can be for internal stakeholder groups as well as external stakeholder groups. All right, so those are the 5 innovation and organizational change management roles.